What's good, y'all, and welcome to my review for Cloak and Dagger Season 2. Just finished watching the final episode not too long ago, maybe about like an hour ago is when I finished watching, maybe two. And overall, I can't even believe I am even fucking saying this because I never thought the ABC series would ever reach this level of quality, but Cloak and Dagger Season 2 is honestly on par with the Netflix series. Now, when I say that, do I mean it's on the level of Luke Cage Season 2, Iron Fist Season 2, Jessica Jones Season 1 and 2, or Daredevil Season 3 at all? Is it on that par? Is it that high level?
You serious?
Yeah. It's awesome, but it ain't that awesome. This is no Daredevil Season 3. This is no Luke Cage Season 2. It's awesome, but it ain't that awesome, ladies and gentlemen. I would say it's above. I like this more than Iron Fist Season 1, but I don't think I would put this over like the Defenders or the first two seasons of Daredevil. I wouldn't say it's that good, but it's definitely in the same categories, I would say, as the Netflix series. So yeah, that's just all in my personal opinion, of course. And like I mentioned, overall, I love this season. This season really did shock me. I was expecting it to be better, and I even mentioned my first impression that I thought, well, yeah, this is definitely. I can definitely see this game really bad, really good, and I think I can gauge my first. When I gave the first two episodes, when I did my first impressions, a higher rating than I did first. I did season 1. Season 1, I think I gave my first impressions with the first episodes like an 8 out of 10 or 8.5. The season 2, I gave those both a 9 out of 10. So yeah, without further ado, let's just jump right into this. So, with the cast includes the usuals: Olivia Holt, Aubrey Joseph, which I don't like. I honestly don't think Aubrey actually stole the show this season. I actually think Olivia Holt actually stole the show this season. Well, Aubrey, he was the star of season 1. I mentioned this in my review of season 1 that he stole the show and everything. He put so much energy. He was like the best part of that season. And he is still up there too. But honestly, Olivia Holt is honestly so much better. She has so many more scenes where there's a lot more like all the emotional stuff when season 1 was all on Tyrone and everything. In season 2, it's a lot more with Danny. It's a lot more with her, and she really shines this season, especially in episodes like I think it was like episode 5 or episode 6. I'm not sure. I'll have to look it up in a minute. Episode 7, that's the one I was looking for. Episode 7 and a few other episodes, she shines. I would still say Tyrone or Aubrey Joseph was amazing as well, but I don't think he stole the show like he did in season 1. That's just my personal opinion, but he was also fucking fantastic in the series as well. Emmy Leon, Gloria Rebin, I don't even know how you pronounce anyone's last name. And a new guy we got here is Brooklyn McLean. He plays a guy named Andre, and Andre. I'll talk a little bit much about him later on, but I'm not going to go too much in depth with his character because there is some spoiler stuff with him, and I don't want to spoil him for you, any of you guys. But I will talk slightly about him. So, anyway, let's just jump right into the review. What were some things that? Let me just start with the positives first. Positives also first on the cast. Like I mentioned before, Olivia Holt was like I would say she was on to the star of this season. By far, she was just so good. Aubrey Joseph also does a fan-fucking-tastic job as Tyrone. As we know, Tyrone is now on the run because he's now framed for murder and everything. And he had his moments here and there, but I would definitely say this was Tandy's showing. This was her time to shine. If season 1 was all about Tyrone, season 2 I would definitely say is a lot more on Tandy. Like I said, you can tell because Olivia Holt, she stole the show here, as I mentioned before. Let me slightly talk a little bit about Andre. Okay, the new guy that got into the cast. I can't talk too much about him because a lot of what goes on with him is spoiler, especially what happens in the second half. But I will say is that he was probably one of my favorite characters from season 2. And that's all I'm gonna say. I'm sorry, I want to talk more about this guy because he was such an interesting character, especially what happens in the second half of the series. But like I said, it'd be spoilers. I'm gonna go into major spoilers territory there, so I'll save that one for my spoiler discussion at the end of this review. But he was fucking fantastic. Gloria, she was fantastic as well as Ty's mom. She's not in the series as much. Neither one of his parents are. They have like maybe a couple scenes here and there, mostly around the second half. But there was this one scene. I forget the episode. I believe it was 8 or 9, maybe. I think it could have been 8 or 9. I might be a little bit wrong there, but I think it was either 8 or 9 was the episode. There's this scene where she has this other character. He's tied up to a chair, and the conversation between her and this character was, woo! All I'll say is this: for any of y'all like my man Eli Moore or Cerberus Garden who are waiting until the series is finally done to finally watch it all at once, by the way, links to their channels down in the description box below. Check them out. Drop maybe sub to them if you enjoy their stuff. So yeah, just had to throw that quick little shout out to my friends. Anyway, so as I was saying, and I even posted this on my Twitter and my Instagram if you guys really want to see the scene. It's on my Twitter and my Instagram because I posted it. I'll definitely say this: moms are hella scary. That's all I'll say about the scene. Moms are hella scary. And another thing I love about the series was the soundtrack. Oh my god, the soundtrack! Oh, yo, guys, I mentioned this in my review of season 1, and in my review of my first impressions, I should say, of season 2. The soundtrack is so fucking good in this series. My god, it is godlike. This is one of my favorite soundtracks of all time. Like, the song selection they picked on these episodes is fucking fine. Yeah, and the songs they used for the last episodes, like Legends. Oh my lord, that has to be one of the greatest songs I've ever heard. My god, that song is fucking fine. Whoever was the man responsible for picking that song for the final episode of Cloak and Dagger season 2, you sir deserve a raise. My god, because my god, sir, you have excellent taste in music. So, and like I said, throughout this review, you guys hear the soundtrack play, which, legit, there were so many tracks I wanted to put in this review that I was debating which ones I should put in, which ones I shouldn't, because there's so many great tracks in here. It's fucking fantastic, man. There were so many, and if I remember correctly, I'll leave the songs, which songs I ended up picking in the description box below, so you guys want to listen to them on Spotify or check them out on YouTube. There you go. That is, if I remember when I upload the video. So the soundtrack was also fucking killer, man. Woo! Man, that soundtrack was fucking fine, ladies and gentlemen. One other thing. One other thing I definitely saw that I thought was great about this series is how it tackles race. Now season 1, I think I liked how season 1 handled it a little bit. I think I liked it a little bit more in season 1, simply still because of that whole conversation which I mentioned. I'm pretty sure I mentioned that in my review of season 1. If not, it was my spoiler discussion of the review. I talked about that scene, the whole convo between Ty and his mom about watch your mouth, pull your pants up, all that stuff. Now, the race, how they tackle race and just social issues in general is good. It's great. Which I'm pretty sure I mentioned this in my first impression. I was shocked by how well it was because Freeform, which I don't watch anything from Freeform other than Cloak and Dagger, but it's an SJW cesspool. Like I mentioned in my first impression, on top of that commercial that aired where they're like, "Oh fuck society! I'm tired of being labeled straight when I'm a lesbian." SJW's bitching about how society sucks. All that bullshit. Thankfully, I haven't seen that ad in months. It's like after the first 3 or 4 episodes of Cloak and Dagger, they're like, okay, let's stop airing this garbage. So they did. Now, there was this, now, I won't lie. Now, overall, I saw this, how they tackled it great. It was, like always, it was, it wasn't in your face, it wasn't coming up preachy, it wasn't shoving it down your throat. It came up natural like it did back in season 1. Like, there was this conversation between Tandy and Andre, where where the whole plot, which I even mentioned this before, the plot of season 2 pretty much revolves around that. Since after the events of season 1, Tyrone and Dandy have gotten a little bit more accustomed to their powers, and of course Tyrone's on the run, or he's hiding, staying in the church because he's on the run from the police because he was framed for murder. That knew that there's a bunch of crimes a series of crimes where girls are being abducted in ambulances, and Tyrone and Danny go over there to stop them to get the girls out. So the girls, so Tyrone and Andre go in, so are walking down the street, and they they see all these wanted signs or for like missing people, for missing black girls. And Tandy asks, like, hey, where are all the news reporters? Why isn't nobody talking about this? And Andre said, and don't quote me directly from this because I might be missing up some of the dial, but he said, they would be if it was someone like you, Tandy, you know, a beautiful, white, blonde girl, but not for us. Like I said, I'm probably you know, I'm summarizing here. Don't worry, it's not like, oh, you know, they'd be after you if you were a white woman, but they don't care about black girls. It's not done. It does not come off condescending. Trust me. But which I would definitely say there is some truth to that statement, because just look at WWE. I'm sorry, I gotta bring them up. So as we know, just like let's compare how Sasha Banks and Ember Moon have been how they have been booked since their days in NXT. As we know, in NXT, they were some of the top girls when they were there. Sasha Banks, she was part of the 4 Horsewomen. She had great matches with Bayley, like as we know, from the NXT TakeOver New York. And Ember Moon was in a top program with Asuka with her whole thing with the streak in great matches. I'm sure not, and I'm sure great matches that she had at various TakeOver shows. Which, by the way, you guys know I wasn't watching NXT during that time, but as soon as I saw Ember Moon's finisher, I immediately fell in love with the woman. And so they were like some of the top girls there. Brooke awesomely, and they were some of the best. Now let's look how when Triple H got them, Thanos booked them great, and they were some of the best. Now, then compare that how and the words of JD from NY, the senile old man Vince McMahon, good old Vinnie Mac, got his hands on them. He has jobbed them out and pretty much stuck them in catering. I mean, just look at Sasha Banks. She's straight up she's just sitting out the rest of her contract like CM Punk or Neville, which good for her. And I'm sure after she saw my man, boy Dean Ambrose show up at Double or Nothing, she was like, ha! Oh, she was probably just looking at her watch, me like, tick tock, one day close. And if she had any doubts, maybe going back to WWE, when she saw Dean Ambrose, I know that immediately left that woman's mind. She's like, nah, I'ma stay here. And look at Ember Moon. She has been stuck in Titus catering. Well, compare it to the women he's actually pushing. Blonde bimbos that can't tell the difference between a wrist lock and a wrist watch, like Lacey Evans or Alexa Bliss. You know, women that can't wrestle, but because they're blondes and they're mildly attractive, Vince McMahon's gonna push them to the moon. So, like I said, there is some truth to that statement. And there was this other scene in around the end of the series. The final episode where Tandy is facing up against his doppelganger of Tyrone, where she says, you know, Tyrone keeps jumping right back up, getting back up against the society that so desperately wants to take him down, but he keeps getting back up. You guys, of course, don't need me to explain to you what Tandy means. And overall, the social commentary, how they tackle race issues, and just social have been great. They don't come off condescending, it doesn't come off like SJW rhetoric. But, and this was a kind of flaw I had with the season. Back in episode, I want to say 6? Yeah, 6. I think this was the same problem I had with episode 6 in season 1. It seems like Cloak and Dagger isn't really good with 6s. That whole episode, Tandy, we see Tandy go into like multiple different universes because the villain character that gets introduced in the second half of the series, that's the one behind all the missing people and all the girls going missing and everything, and all the abductions. She, with his powers, which I gotta say that, I'll talk a little bit more about that a little bit later. But there was a scene where Tandy and Tyrone go to the store to grab some ice. And when they get there, you know, Tyrone and Tandy are having their usual banter, like they usually do. But then when they get the cash register, you got this white guy coming up to them, and she's like, hey, I want to say you're hot, but I also want to say that you don't need to settle for that. And he's looking at Tyrone. And Tandy, of course, doesn't take this well, and she tells him, like, oh, what am I sorry for? You know, all that stuff. And then the cashier's like, oh yeah, they'll take our women, and then they'll complain the world is still racist, which... okay. I get what they're trying to say. And I even posted this on my Twitter and my Instagram. And 2 guys came up and told me that they actually like this. One was my man Eli Moore, who said this actually happened to him as well. And this other guy said this also happened to him as well. And they both said that this was spot on. Which I could imagine it was. But for someone like me, of course, hasn't even dated a woman ever, I get what they're saying, and I like how they did tackle that kind of issue with interracial relationships. But I feel like the dialogue they used was a little too preachy, a little too forced. Like the SJW writers at Freeform took over the script for that episode, which, I mean, the more I think about it, I can see and I get what people are saying, why some people would like that scene, but for someone like me, it just came off a little too much for me. It came off like some black SJW writer, like, oh yeah, fuck white people, with that scene. And I understand if you guys like that scene, and I get it, and I kind of like it to the extent where I like the talent issue, but I feel like it wasn't as well handled as the whole Tyrone mom conversation around the end of season 1. That talked about racism and of course how what happens with young black people and how, let's be honest, we have a target on our backs. That and of course holding police brutality and everything. That tackled it beautifully. Spot on, didn't come off preachy, didn't come off like SJW writers took over and they were just bitching about white people and how evil they are. Shit like that. That came off perfectly. This just came off a little too forced, like little too. It didn't come off as subtle, I guess you could say, or as I can't think of the actual word, but you guys should probably get what I mean. I thought that scene was good. I think it was. The more I think about it, I think it was good enough. But at the same time, that dialogue still just rubs me the wrong way a little bit, guys. I know if some of you guys like that, then that's cool for you, and you think it was spot on, then okay, fair enough. But me personally, I liked that they tackled that issue, but I feel like they could have done it a little bit better. Just use maybe better dialogue that didn't sound so SJWs writing white people, If you've read SJW comics, you know what I'm talking about. So, yeah. That was one of my problems I did have with this season, was episode 6. That whole episode I wasn't really a fan of until when we saw the end of it. And then I was like, okay, now I like this episode. But that whole scene, I know, I can understand if you guys liked it, but me personally, it kind of rubbed me the wrong way. So, what other positive we have in this series? One other positive I did have with the series was that this kind of had the inverse effect to what happened in Luke Cage Season 1. As you guys remember, it's Luke Cage Season 1. The start of the series, the first half, we had the villain, Cottonmouth as the villain. And of course, everyone loved Cottonmouth. He was great. Everyone loved him. Even to this day, I still say I liked him a little bit more than Wilson Fisk in the Netflix series. And then the second half, we had a new villain that, let's be honest, was nowhere near as good as Cottonmouth. The inverse effect happened here, where the first villain that we get for the first, 6 or so episodes, Mayhem, I didn't really like her. She was, I didn't really care for her. She was another one. I guess she was also another Fly House. I just wasn't really a big fan of Mayhem. Sure, she's kind of boring. She's just like, oh, I am the evil version of you. She's essentially Bizarro for the detective character. She really didn't do nothing for me in the series. I mean, she was fine, but I wasn't really feeling her. But then the second half, when we find out who was behind all the abductions, this guy was fucking fantastic, man. He was excellent. I loved him. Such a great character. He was awesome. I won't tell you who his name is, because I don't want to spoil y'all, but he was great. And now let me get into some negatives I did have with the series. Now, my major negative is the same I had with Season 1. The supporting characters suck. Or better yet, they do nothing in the series. Now, I'm sure some of you guys, like I said, the Netflix series did it better. Now, I'm sure some of you guys say, oh, Glenn, it's not compared to the Netflix series, because, the Netflix series have hour-long episodes. They have plenty of time to give equal opportunity to both the main and supporting cast. Which is that, I would say you're right. But then there's series like Gotham that have tons of supporting characters, and yet they found a way to balance them all. Like Riddler, Catwoman, Jim Gordon, Harvey, all those guys. They found a way to balance all of them. Yet here, the supporting cast is the same problem where they do nothing. Like, It is a little bit better. Like Tyrone's mom and dad, I told you they don't really do much in the series, but when they are on screen, especially Ty's mom, it was great. And what's her name's mother? I forget her name. The voodoo woman. She was a little bit better here, but really her role is the same thing here in season 1 than it was in season 2. Spouting exposition about voodoo shit. I mean, it's cool. It's interesting. I love her voice because she has her voice makes you pay attention to what she's saying. But still, she literally does nothing. And Tyrone's girlfriend, same thing. Does nothing other than voodoo shit. Same problem I had with season 1. Maybe that could get fixed in season 3, but I have a feeling that this series is going to get canceled. Some of you might be like, but Glenn, why would you say Cloak and Dagger would get canceled? You've been doing nothing but praising the series. Well, you see, ABC loves to cancel great series once they hit their stride. Agent Carter was one. Designated Survivor. I am still pissed off that show got canceled. That show was so good! Especially the season 2 with, what was his name? That character that had like a small role in season 1, but became a main character in season 2. My god, he was my favorite character. His name is still in my mind, but fuck, I'm so pissed off that show got canceled. He was so good, man. That whole season was fucking there, man. To this day, I'm still salty about that. So, I wouldn't be surprised if Cloak and Dagger season 3 or Cloak and Dagger just gets canceled outright, because God forbid we have a good series that keeps going. But no, let's keep rebooting. Let's keep renewing Agents of Shield. Yeah. Anyway, and one thing I did like about this ending was, now I won't obviously go into spoiler, but the ending is like really conclusive. Like it's not. They're like season 1. They were obviously setting up for season 2. They were season 2. They honestly don't set up really anything, which is interesting. Which makes me almost think that this might actually be the last season. But at the same time, with how it ended, I wouldn't be surprised if there is indeed going to be a season 3. Maybe we'll get an announced Comic-Con or so, which I do hope is the case, because I got some pretty interesting things about what could happen in season 3. One other pause, and I got a couple extra positives I want to talk before I just jump right into my final verdict, and I'll talk a little bit about spoilers. One other thing I love about this series is the Easter eggs. I know there's a couple Easter eggs and references. One, there was this one episode where they're inside an arcade machine. I think that was in episode 8. And I won't spoil the character that appears, but I'll tell you this much: it's a character from the movies. And when I saw him in the arcade game, I lost my shit. Another character that appeared was Luke Cage. Yes, this is the first time we've legit had direct connections between series. Like, the Netflix series have always stayed in the Netflix series, but this was the first time where we had one series from the ABC TV series actually talk about the Netflix series. Like this kid comes up to Ty and he tells him to have him read his newspaper because the kid can't read, which that scene took me really back, and I was actually very surprised the series actually talked about an issue like that. But it says that Luke Cage, Ty straight up said Luke Cage. You can imagine I lost my damn mind on Twitter. I said that that Luke Cage just got name dropped and the Netflix series will never truly die. So yeah, that was fucking epic for me. I love that they actually name dropped my man Luke Cage. Maybe we'll get to Luke Cage season 3, but I doubt that. Anyway, so overall, let me end the spoiler-free discussion because I kept you guys here long enough. So overall, would I recommend you go check out season 2 if you did not watch season 2 while it was airing? If you are a fan of season 1, highly recommend season 2. It's so much better than season 1. It adds adds to the stuff that season 1 did great. Suffers from the same problems that season 1 had with the supporting cast really doing nothing in the series. But now, if you were someone that wasn't a fan of season 1, I honestly don't think season 2 will change your mind on that. But at the same time, the second half of season 2 is so fucking good that I would say watch until the second villain gets introduced midway through the series. If you're not sold by then, drop the series. So with that, I give this series my final verdict of a 10 out of 10. Like I mentioned before, guys, this is on par with the Netflix series, and man, was this series very surprising for me. I did not expect Cloak and Dagger season 2 to be this good. I expect it to be better than season 1, but I didn't expect it to be on par with the Netflix series. So props to ABC. You finally made a series that is on par with the Netflix series. Congratulations. Anyway, so with all that being said, guys, I will now talk about spoilers. So if you guys have not seen season 2, leave now. If you've already seen season 2 or for some reason you do not care about spoilers, here we go in 3, 2, 1. Alright, so let's get into spoilers. So Andre. Oh my god, was this man such an interesting villain? He was probably one of my favorite parts of season 2. He is such an interesting. So the man suffers from migraines, and he went to try and kill himself when the whole explosion at Roxxon happened, which is where he got his powers along with Dandy and Tyrone. So he gained the power to where when he touches women, he also runs this support group for like abuse for abuse victims, which perfect place for him. So he gets there, he shakes their hand. When he touches them, he feels their pain. He uses their despair, and he plays them in the form of records because he's a huge music guy, huge jazz guy, and so he plays the records. They relive their despair, but he gains the power, and the migraines go away. He wants to seek more permanent solution to those migraines, and from Tyrone's girlfriend's mom, the voodoo chick, she tells him all about that he has a potential of becoming a god. If he opens this door, he will become a god and such. And so he's like, oh, and she tells him, what have you done with all this power? You have abused with all this power you get. Why would you need to get more? You've used it irresponsibly. It was some great stuff, man. That whole where he wants to become a god, he does all this stuff to try to open up that door, and just overall, the man has so much charisma to him. He reminded me a lot of Shade from Luke Cage. If you guys remember, I said in my review of season 2 that Shade was one of my favorite characters from Luke Cage. The man had so much charisma and such a commanding presence on screen that he was always such a joy to watch. The same thing happens with Andre, but to a lesser extent, in my opinion. He has excellent charisma. Brooklyn plays him beautifully, and the man has such a commanding presence that you listen to what he says, and he's just such a joy to watch, man. He was great. I loved Andre. He was such a cool villain when he got introduced in the second half of season 2. And another thing is, in that whole episode 7, I would not be surprised if there were some women that are watching the second half of the episode 7 that viewed it as like some women's empowerment. And when I say women's empowerment, I don't mean Captain Marvel women's empowerment. We're like, look, I stand up. No. I mean Wonder Woman, No Man's Land women's empowerment. Women's empowerment that makes men lose their minds, like your boy. You guys may remember in my review of Wonder Woman, I even mentioned how I lost my shit when No Man's Land happened, which is deflecting all those bullets and shit. That's the shit happens here where Danny gets her powers back, and after one of the other abusers or one of the other abductee or one of the other victims comes out, and she's like, if she finds out that her parents were always looking for her and that she was lied to, she's like, no, I don't need you, I'm going to leave. And then she has hope, and then Teddy gets back her dad because she has hope, and then she just starts, and then you got the Lion, the Beast, and the Beat, or whatever that song was called, starts playing, and you got Mayhem breaking all the records, and then Shanny's in there with her daggers over there, breaking through walls and shit. It was so badass, and she's coming in there killing dudes and shit. Woo! And you got Tyrone coming in there in a truck. Oh man, that was some epic shit. I was like, this series, that was like my favorite moment in the series, man. That episode was so hype. So hype. So Black Panther shows up in the series, like in the arcade game. We straight up see Black Panther. I'm sure, at least I think it was Black Panther, because he looked like he was wearing Black Panther's classic outfit from the comics, with the cape and everything. And I lost my mind. I was like, oh my god, it's Black Panther. He's in Cloak and Dagger. That was cool. And the whole stuff I ever mentioned about the newspaper with Luke Cage, I thought that was epic. Let me see if there's anything else I missed. I feel like I'm missing something. That conversation with his mom. So let me talk about that conversation Ty's mom had with Billy's killer. So later on, I think it was already in episode 5. Once Mayhem or Tandy goes in there to get Mayhem out of there, instead she ends up getting Billy's killer, which, as we know, he sucked him up in season 1. He gets out there. He says that he wants to help Tyrone because he was stuck, and then all he felt was like despair and everything. So he decides to help Tyrone. Ty's mom gets a hold of him. He's tied up to a chair in the kitchen, and she's like sharpening up her knife, ready to make some crab cakes. As she said, you know, when she cooks when she wants to clear her head. She said she made this crab cake recipe that she found in their junk drawer that serves 4. This was after Billy died, and she was like, I was okay with that. Thought it wasn't real. Did you get me? He's like, oh, I'm not sure I'm the best to answer that question. And then she says, yes, well, you're the only one I can talk about my dilemma. And then she says she's stuck between 2 forces, Tyrone and Billy, about whether or not she should kill him or let him live to see how if he's used for Tyrone. I was weighing her need to kill him. Straight up, she said that. I was like, oh fuck. And so the rest, they keep talking, and it just, ooh, that whole conversation was suspenseful as hell. And I'm just like, shit, she could kill him. So then, by the end of it, when she tells him where they buried Billy, literally, she takes him out, tells her what the bathroom is. The bathroom is littered with all this paper, and I think Ty's dad shoots him. And I was like, yo. And then in the final episode, we see the detective hang the dude up by the neck in a noose that says guilty on it with some blood on it. And I love it. And this part here, I swear to God, people are going to so take this the wrong way. But you had 2 white guys looking in shock, while you had the black guy in the middle nod in approval. And I was like, and I'm sure coming from a black guy this is surprising, but I did not feel any sense of satisfaction from that scene. Like, yeah, fucking, because I was just like, oh my god, people are gonna take this the wrong way. You're gonna have some people saying this is SJW rhetoric reading into the head, and I already know all the Black Lives Matter people are gonna come in and be like, yeah, fuck white cops, or just fuck white people, or just fuck cops. When that's not the case, it's just one terrible corrupt cop finally getting what was coming to him. But I already know people are gonna take that the wrong way and everything, so ugh. But you know, I guess it was, but I was just like, whoa, y'all hanged them by a noose and everything. So yeah, and then we end the series off where Ty and Danny are on this bus. We don't know where they're going, but let's be honest, they're going to New York. I don't know why they're going by bus, not plane, but maybe bus ticket was cheaper to get to New York. But I wouldn't be surprised season 3 is where the guys are in New York. And who knows, maybe we might see some intermingling with the Netflix character, because, you know, they named dropped Luke Cage. Maybe we might see Daredevil make an appearance. Luke Cage, maybe season 3 of Cloak and Dagger is just season 3 of Luke Cage. I don't know. Maybe Daredevil might appear on Jessica Jones. I don't know. So, that is if the series doesn't get canceled after season 2, because they love canceling series after 2 seasons, like I mentioned before with ABC. I'm so salty about Designated Survivor. But that is all I have to say, guys. This review ended to be a lot longer than I expected, 32 minutes, which is shocking. I thought this review was going to be like 20 minutes max, but nah, motherfucker ended up being 30. But anyway, guys, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Leave a like if you did, subscribe if you're new. Follow me on Instagram, Twitter, if you like. Links down in the description box below. And as always, come back for more. See you guys next time.
You